Hey, it's Ryan from Centro. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about some advanced automations between Salesforce and Slack using our product. So the use case I'm going to go through today is a one where let's say you have a Slack Connect channel between your organization and let's say a partner. And in that Slack Connect channel, the team talks about various deals, registers cases or registers deals, logs cases, and generally discusses the partnership. Now, when people come and go out of that channel from the partner side, they want to have some kind of welcome message that shows only to them and gives them a onboarding kind of layout of what's going on in the channel without necessarily interrupting the channel. So this helps engage those folks more cleanly, and also allows you to track whether or not they're interested in what you're proposing and reading about your partnership. So let's see how it looks from the user's perspective, and then we'll deep dive onto the underpinning technology. So I'll start from this Slack Connect channel. Here you can see we're using our Centro Lightning Web Component to display on this campaign. I'll get back to why I'm using campaigns a little later, but we work on any object. If I click on this link to this Salesforce channel or the Slack channel, this will be an on join event. So this will be the first time I'm joining the channel, and we should see a welcome message. So I'll join the channel, and you can see I get this ephemeral message telling me a little bit about the partnership, and then I've got some buttons to click here. So I can click partner content, and that's going to search Salesforce and pull up relevant content. Like here's this success story. When I click that, it's going to then display a success story for me, all ephemerally, not so I'm interrupting the conversation. That's kind of ongoing. So here's a problem and solution. You can see I've got other buttons that can be clicked, and each one of these is being tracked and logged back in Salesforce. You can also see I can log a case. So let's go ahead and try that. This is using our Slack form builder to allow people to fill out a case. So we can open up a form here in Slack, fill out the case details, and in the background I have some hidden fields that are setting which account this is coming from, etc. So a lot of functionality to unwind here. Let's first of all take a look at the Salesforce flow that kind of, let's start on the Slack side actually. Let's take a look at what triggers this event when I join the channel. So if you're not familiar with it, we're leveraging Slack Workflow Builder. And we have this welcome on join workflow. Let's take a look at what it does. It's pretty simple. It's gonna fire when a webhook is initiated. In this case, the event is someone joining a channel, and you can see then we're going to fire a Salesforce platform event. We ship a Centro action, which I'll show in a little bit, and then we pass along the channel ID, who joined, and we can add more event details if we wanted to. Okay, so now that we've got, so essentially what's going to happen here is the person joins the channel, that triggers that event, the on join event, which fires a platform event back to Salesforce, which says, oh, let's serve up this person some content that we've defined in Salesforce. So I'm going to pause and switch over to Salesforce. Okay, so our welcome message is a platform event triggered flow. So we just start whenever that platform event is triggered, and we look for that API name that we defined in Slack, and then decision off of that. We go get some details from the campaign, like the body and the welcome message and who that person is. By the way, we can add some steps here to create this person who joined the channel as a new contact, right? So pretty helpful functionality we can do here in Flow. And then we post our message to the channel, and this is going to use our Centro send message element. We're specifying the channel ID that came from the platform event. We're providing a welcome message that's pulled from our Salesforce content. And then we've got this functionality to actually send this as an ephemeral message. So this is nice when we want to be able to specify and only show that content to a specific person. So again, we don't want to spam the entire channel with the welcome message every time. We want to send it to the person who just joined. We can do other things like attach records, files, reports, and custom buttons. Let's take a look at our custom buttons here. And these should look familiar from the Slack side. We've got some partner content, actions, FAQ, and then log a case. Now each one of these has its own API and has its own button behavior. So, for example, partner content does a publish a platform event, and let's take a look at our platform event handler to see what that does. Okay, so again, this is a platform event triggered flow, and we've got a bigger decision element that handles our various button actions. So, and in fact, this is dynamic where we can create dynamic sets of buttons that we want to loop through and see, was that button pressed, and then go get that content from Salesforce, which we stored as a new knowledge, kind of a knowledge article type of thing. Then we just post that content to Slack. So again, it's really nice to be able to have the content defined in Salesforce and served up dynamically based on button presses in Slack. So you can imagine creating campaigns in Slack. That's why I use the campaign object, where you want to have, say maybe account-based marketing, or you want to test out some new messaging, and you can track those button events, the content events that's being served up in Slack back in Salesforce, and see how well or how effective you are in Slack, which is a very powerful medium. Meanwhile, we're tracking the whole conversation from Slack in Salesforce as well, using our Lightning Web Component, which is a true bidirectional feed of that channel. Okay, so that's how we serve up the buttons. Those are in really, if you want to deep dive on how to do this, we have some support articles. The last thing I want to show is how we triggered how we can trigger a Slack workflow from Salesforce. So let's go back to our log a case. Okay, so these buttons are being handled dynamically. I added this button just to show how this works. So let's say we want to fire a Slack webhook from Salesforce. So we've got this log a case. Instead of firing a platform event, we're going to trigger a Slack workflow webhook. And that webhook is defined back in Slack as follows. So let's go back into Workflow Builder, and we've got a create a case. And this is using our workflow steps to serve up a case form. Let's take a look at that for a second. And you can see we've got some displayed fields. You saw this earlier. Describe the issue. This is mapped to the subject field in the case object. Provide details. This is tied to the description. Then I've got this hidden field where I'm setting the case origin for the person. We can also have some, we can set the account ID if we wanted to, and then respect filtered lookups like the contact in the visible section. So you can have basically take all the guesswork and limit people's ability to do anything in Salesforce down to a very narrow set of functionality in Slack, like logging cases or registering a deal. So you're getting the value of the Salesforce record being created, but curated and tailored very narrowly to what you want to expose in Slack Connect. So kind of nice to do that. So this is the case form element we ship with. We also have this post to Salesforce record. So once that record is created, you can see we insert the record ID as a variable, and then post that message. Here's your case, and then so that way the team knows the case was created successfully. And then here's that URL for the webhook itself. So all I did was copy this, then back in Salesforce, paste that into here, and that button press triggered that webhook, which then fired the form. So this is a high-level overview of what we've done here. If you're interested in deep diving, I'm happy to set up a webinar or one-on-one. We can be found at www.centro.rocks. Thanks.